So morning guys, welcome to UKDiver. My name's Andy and we are on day 2 of the Swanage trip. So again, a beautiful day. This morning we're diving the Carantan, which was a World War II French sub-hunter that the British commandeered when France was invaded. A bit of a rummage one again, this one, mainly for ammunition for the World War. We'll go down, we'll see what it's going to be like. We're just on Spaz helmet again today. So yeah, let's see what we can do and I'll see you up there. So I'll just tell you while we're waiting to signal to Brian and waiting for Dean to get to the shot, guys, that as soon as we got out on the shot line, we could see the green sparkles in the water, so we knew this one was going to be pretty algal infested, to be honest with you. We were hoping it was just going to be the surface layer maybe, and things would get better as we got down to depth, but as you'll see in a second, that really wasn't the case. As you can see, guys, plenty of crud in the water. Like I say, we were hoping it was going to get better when we got to the bottom, but as you can see here, it really isn't. We are diving on low water here, so a lot of the water that's around us now would have been closer into the coast where it's shallower, and obviously the algae can bloom a bit better because it gets more sunlight. But you've got to dive, one low water and one high water, so you kind of pay your money and you take your chance, I'm afraid. Apart from the particulate in the water, it wasn't actually too bad visibility. There was no milkiness in the water or anything like that can really dampen a dive. But yeah, it was very dark because obviously all that sunlight's being absorbed by all the algae, so it was an incredibly dark and moody dive. So these boxes here you'll see all over this wreck, to be honest with you, and I hear a lot like, oh, did you see those ammunition boxes? These are not ammunition boxes, and if you've not twigged what they are already, you will do as soon as I flip this one over. So as you can see, guys, that actually the ship's batteries, I don't know how many was on the ship, but you do see them all over the place, so I don't know if it's a bit of a dumping ground, but there's certainly a few. So the other thing you always see on shipwrecks, and you can see quite clearly on this one, is the throne. Le pisseur if you're French, de chuteur if you're German, the head, John or Can if you're American, but yeah, basically over here it's called the bog. And there she blows, and you can't miss it. Like ceramic really lasts underwater, and even when the rest of the ship's gone, the loo is still going to be there. So yeah, do make sure you check that out when you're on this dive. As a UK diver, you've got to be comfortable in the dark. It's got to be one of those things that rather than terrifies you, wraps you up in a warm fuzzy blanket. And I really like dark moody dives like this one. So what do you think to this, guys? So I just wanted to try out my little backup torch because let's be honest, your backups very rarely get used. And this one certainly hasn't been used in anger, so I thought I'd get it out and give it a little go. Now it's only a little 40 lumen thing, but I really liked it underwater. It gave this very sort of faint glow to everything, and more interestingly, the critters that I caught with it, rather than bolting away, didn't seem quite so scared. So I think that might be a little tip I can take away from me macro photography. Rather than using a really great big bright wonking light, use something like this. But I really enjoyed diving with this light for the few minutes that I did just to try it out anyway, and probably not so great for the video, but yeah, I really liked it. So anyway, comments down below, what do you think? Bright lights or something a bit more moody? So here we are, guys. This is one thing that you definitely want to check out when in this wreck, and this is its sonar eye. So it looks like the Eye of Ra from Egyptian mythology, and what it is an early form of sonar. Now apparently it worked just fine, but they're able to miniaturize it, and apparently on a modern boat, that one gret thing you can see there is only about the size of your fist. So that's pretty much it, guys. 50 minutes poking around with not a lot to show for it. You can see all the particles swirling around and whizzing by here. The tide's getting up. At this point, me and Dean are hiding behind the wreck trying to avoid it, so it's definitely time to go. Because we'd both racked up a couple of minutes deco, we put a line up each. Simply, it's safer and you can manage yourself rather than have to go at somebody else's pace, so I always put my own bag up if I've got a bit of deco to do. Firstly, look how clear that water is. Why couldn't we have that viz on the wreck that we've just done? But I've got a confession to make, guys. I clean forgot to do a piece to camera in between the dives. I'm afraid I had a total boob at lunchtime. The girls had come down to meet us, so we went and bought lunch. I tried using a card that I'd not used for ages and ages, and over the summer it had been cloned, or someone had been trying to use it, so the bank cancelled it and sent me a new one with a new pin. I'd forgotten the pin. I'd try entering the old pin 3 times, the card locked out. It was all very stressful, and I just clean forgot. But anyway, it's all resolved now. We did get lunch in the end, so we didn't starve to death. But anyway, enjoy this very, very pretty footage of Swanage. It is an absolute cracking place. You should definitely come down to, even if you don't manage to get in to dive. My next trip will actually be to dive just under the pier, so we're doing that in a couple of weeks. So hoping we're going to get some really nice macro stuff, and we can actually get a bit of practicing with that. So fingers crossed. So here we are, guys, on our second dive, and Dean just had a bit of a mask issue, so needed to do another circuit before he jumped in. Plop, there he goes. And we are diving the Kyarra again. So the decision was made, because we had good viz on it yesterday, to do it for our second dive today. So we are diving on the new high tide, so it should be fresh water, and they were right, we did have some cracking viz on it. Because of that viz, we decided we weren't just going to stick his head in a hole and just do a rummage dive. We would obviously keep our eyes out just for any treasure just in case, but we did actually just go and have a bit of an explore of the boat, because I've not dove this with such good visibility, and I had no idea this boat was this vast. So yeah, let's go and take a look. So, bit of a technical malfunction here, guys. My right hand spaz helmet video light decided that when I switched it on, it was going to go straight into SOS mode, then wouldn't switch off, wouldn't change modes, wouldn't do anything. So Dean's just having a look at it for me. He's going to tell me in a second it's pretty dead. Do I want him to pull it off for me? Which I said, yes, fine, take it off, because I can't be doing that flashing all the time. So we take that off, drop it in the dry suit pocket, and sort it when we get back to shore. Now, I'm happy to say that once I took the battery out of it and put it back in, it seems to be working fine now. So I have absolutely no idea what went wrong with it. So the reason I'd actually turned the video light on was for this section here. So you can't really see, but there's a good chunk of wreck above my head. This is definitely an enclosed environment, but I could see there was lots and lots of these broken tiles. So we were definitely in the hold section. So I wanted to go in and just have a bit of a schmoozy. Now, when I go into a wreck, I'm always extremely careful to check that I've got an exit, the exit's clear, and there's nothing dingly and dangly. So you'll see my torch going up quite a bit, and that's just for me to make sure that whilst I'm going in there, that I have got a clear route out and everything is good. hopefully you can see all these bits of tiles and bits of ceramic. As I said, ceramic just lasts forever underwater, so it stays there. So we are definitely in the tile hold, but there really wasn't anything too intact. There's a few there, look, but I was really conscious that I didn't want to stir up this area because, like I say, it is an overhead environment. So I've just picked very, very carefully through it, but really didn't find anything overly interesting. I mean, we look at this tile here, and it's just covered in sea life. So I'm just exiting that bit of the boat which is overhead, and you can see in a second Dean is going to start looking. Look down there, there looks to be even more tiles. So if you are looking to deck your kitchen or bathroom out in some funky 1920s tiles, well, this is your spot, guys. This is where you need to come and fetch the authentic real thing. Right, now for me, highlight of the weekend coming up. Maybe not for you, but definitely for me. Now, you can see that thing my torch is on. This is the biggest nudie brank I have ever seen in my entire life. Certainly ever in the UK. Now, in the UK, nudie branks are like the size of your fingernail, you know what I mean? The tiny little things. This thing is like the mammoth of nudie branks, okay? I'm trying to get a shot of it, and I'm trying to get something in so you can see the size of it. So I'm thinking about lifting it here, but then I thought, no, I don't want to disturb the poor guy. But I'll get my finger in a minute. And just look at the size of it. So it's like your full hand width across. Absolutely huge, and I was absolutely blown away by it. I just wish I had my macro camera so I could have gone in and got some tighter shots. Not that I could fit because it was down in that little crevice, but what a beast. What an absolute beast. Now, I've got to own up to something here. This is an experienced diver hazing a less experienced diver. So, Dean loves seafood. He absolutely loves seafood, and he's always said, "Oh, I love lobster. Oh, I love lobster." So guess what I found? A nice little lobster, just about tea size. So I'm saying to him here, right, go and get it. Go on. And as you can see, he's not looking overly sure, is he? Okay, now he's just making excuses. Look, he's tucked his DSMB under that thing, and now he's saying, "Oh, I can't get out." Come on, mate, get it out and get in there and get that chuffing lobster. I don't know what he's doing here. I think he's trying to sign language to it. Come on out. Let me eat you. Come on out. But it's not working. Ah, I've tried this one before. It's the blind it method. I don't think this is going to work either. Oh, more sign language. Hello. In a minute, another one's going to come popping out just below him. You watch Dean haul ass. He backed off there, didn't he? And that's it, he's done. So yeah, he might love eating lobster, but he's certainly not very good at catching it. Oh well, never mind. To be honest, I don't eat the bloody things myself. I don't particularly like seafood or shellfish or anything like that. I think they're much prettier underwater. And we hadn't got a catch bag anyway, even if we did get it. So just me giving him a bit of stick. We're at the bow now, and obviously there's no really much to see after this, so I did notice that the current seemed to be running straight down the length of the wreck, so I thought, well, we've got a bit of time left. What better, we'll raise up a couple of meters and we'll do a high level drift over the whole of the wreck, which is exactly what we did. So I'm just going to turn around and tell Dean, right, we're going back the other way, and notice that the lovely Fran and Peter behind us, following us around. So we're just going to lift up here and drift over the wreck just to get a bit of scale, and like I say, much bigger than I first thought. So we're going to come across some anchor chain in a moment. There, you can just see it there. and obviously a nice big capstan that's attached to, and then there's a good sized deck winch just behind that. So that's it, guys. We're at the stern, and this is the end of the Swanage trip. When we got back on the boat, the wind had really whipped up. That storm I was talking about yesterday had really started rocking in, and it wasn't a very particularly nice run back into the bay. So unfortunately, as expected, the third day was cancelled. The night dive that we got planned under the pier was also cancelled because, like I say, it really whipped up. It surprised me how quick the wind had come in, and it wasn't very nice. So we're going to have to leave it there, guys. Like I say, we are back down in a couple of weeks just to dive under the pier. It's just me and my macro camera, so hopefully we'll go and have a look at some beasties. So look after yourselves, dive safe, and I will see you on the next one.